Coming to you from the Malice TV studios in Troy, Michigan, this is the Malice Cast.
All right, welcome back to the Malice Cast, the official podcast of Malice HR. I'm LJ.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we've got a ton to talk to you about, but before we do, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, as well as our pages on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Every time you like and subscribe, I have a podcast full of all women. Wow!
You did so good.
I know, it was an immediate thing.
Yeah,
it just happened.
all the likes and subscribes and just brought it out of the ether.
Immediately.
Yeah, so we've got some friends joining us today because it is Women's History Month, and we wanted to kind of take a whole entire podcast.
Oh, okay.
To celebrate women. I don't know why you're here.
Yeah,
but
I really don't know either.
We have Laura Love, who is our controller here. Laura, you've been with the company for, I don't know, 500,000 years? Eight. That's close. 8 years. Close. Pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Lisa Smith, who is our HR generalist, team lead, all-around administrative goddess over there. So, and you've been with the company for
almost 11 years now.
So a little over 500,000.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So in celebrating Women's History Month, you know, we have a little bit more of a platform now. We have a podcast, we have a whole YouTube channel and things like that. So we really wanted to kind of take the opportunity and highlight that and have fun with it. We put together a nice little International Women's Day commercial, which was written, directed, and featured women only, which was fantastic for me. I loved.
I had my debut on the Malice Cast.
How you doing with those hair ties?
It was a lot, but
I never got mine back.
Here. Oh, that's not a hair tie. Dang it. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. We don't really get to kind of like stop and just be playful with stuff. So I felt like that was a pretty good showcase of our humor in this office. So thank you for being a part of it. So, you know, it's just so different. Even here in the last couple of years has been different than it was before. But if you really go back to like the Leave It to Beaver eras, you know, you didn't have a whole lot of roles for women. I mean, they were nurses and secretaries and stay-at-home moms, things like that. But you know, now we've broken those barriers and glass ceilings and all of those things, and we've come really far as like, you know, I mean, there's 3 women at this table who are leaders in this company and so on and so forth. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great, honestly.
Good.
I know we're only celebrating women this month, but I celebrate women every month of the year. Big
Great
part
answer.
of my life. And I'm just happy to be here for the ride and, you know, with you guys. So it makes me feel great, though. I really love seeing the number of women that we've had in this company increase, but then also see them moving up in different roles and leadership positions and becoming mentors for not only other women, but also the men in the office as well, and really leading by example. You know, I think both of you guys are great examples of people who have been at the company for a long time, and you started at a certain spot and you've worked your way up, and now you're overseeing important things and leading people, and it's it's really cool. So for me, for real, it's really neat to see.
Nice. I like that. So when we kind of look back on, you know, when we were younger and things like that and what our parents did or grandparents did or just, you know, women that we loved, what are some situations that you ran into? Like, what kind of inspired you to step up and be like, hey, I want a piece of this for myself?
Oh, yeah. My mom had 4 kids, and she had to step back for a little bit, and she ended up watching 9 kids all at once.
Oh, gosh.
Wow. And, just to, you know, that was her way of making money for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then she finally got back in, and she started at JLL. She worked her way all the way up. She's at GM now. She's one of the top people at her company.
Love that.
And, she's amazing. Everyone looks up to her. She's been there for almost 26 years, I think it is.
Wow, good for her.
Yeah, that's a tough...
Most of that was JLL, but she's in GM now, and she's so proud. She can retire soon, and I idolize her and respect her so much and just want to follow in her footsteps.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's a tough place. That's where I cut my teeth. And my first big girl job was in it wasn't a GM facility, but a tier 1 automotive place. And it was tough for women back then. It was pre-Me Too. So like, it was just expected that like, if you got a role, it must be because you were doing something behind the scenes, not because you actually earned that. And so, I mean, I remember those days, and she started way before, so kudos to her for sticking with it.
Absolutely.
You definitely got to have a backbone to get through those scenarios.
Yeah, and for me, it was more so I was taken under the wings of a all-women CPA group. I never in a million years thought that I would even be good at accounting, because math was my worst subject. Until I got into algebra and all of the more complicated things. And so now looking back, it all kind of makes sense, but they really helped me see my potential, and it allowed me to continue my growth and journey and move up.
I love that.
Are you saying you're actually good at algebra?
Yes. Very weirdly good at algebra.
I feel like
formulas.
I took algebra like 4 times and I still have no idea.
No,
Yeah.
So when you went into, or like when you finally kind of embraced it as like, this is the direction that I want to take, did you see yourself kind of like being a controller of a multi-million-dollar company, or were you like, no, I'll have these AP, AR kind of roles? Like, did you, how high did you see yourself flying?
Honestly, for me, it really, I'll be honest, I didn't used to dream about where I was going to go. I really didn't even know what I wanted to do. But once I realized that I was good at it, I really just continued to take on more and more. Mm-hmm. And every task that I took on taught me more to get me to the next level. So it just kind of naturally happened that way for me, because I stayed grounded in the fact that I wanted to consistently grow. Mm-hmm. I just knew that I wanted to keep moving up in some way. And so continuing to learn on my own really is what got me there.
Yeah, and you're one of the best people too at like taking people under your wing and bringing them up into like, let me sit with you and teach you how to do this, and cross-training your department. I think your department's probably the most cross-trained in the entire place.
I appreciate that. It took me a while. I think that was one of the later things I'm just now learning, is my skills in the leadership side of it, and not just focusing on my own growth, but everyone.
Yeah, you're a fantastic leader. And I think if the rest of your team were in here right now, which are all women, by the way.
Thankfully, it's kind of great.
They would give you a little round of applause. So, yeah. Yeah, so Lisa, when you kind of like took on your own, like, hey, we're going to make you the lead of this team, and we know you've worked here for a million years, but you really did earn it. How do you feel, or how did you feel when that happened to you?
I honestly never thought that I would ever get to that position, because I was working in a restaurant as a host, and this position came to me. It actually, they asked me if I wanted a position. I was a filing clerk to start, administrative assistant, but I literally was just working on files because I didn't know anything about HR. I didn't know anything about staffing. I knew nothing. And thankfully, Beth came in to an HR manager role here, and she started to take me under her wing and teach me the ropes, and wanted me to succeed, because that happened with her. And years passed, and look at me now.
Yeah.
She's taught me so much, and I never thought that I would have a team, and I do now.
Yeah, it's funny because in my experience in the workplace, it was the opposite. Like, women saw you and they're like, ugh, you know, like they weren't going to help you. They weren't going to do anything. They didn't care about your success because your success impeded their success somehow. And it was just such an antiquated way of looking at things. But I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm breaking that mold. Like, I will take people under my wing. I will protect people, because nobody did that for me. And I wanted to, you know, make that change. So the fact that you were able to step into somebody who had also experienced that and been like, hey, we're not doing that anymore. I feel like we here at Malace HR are all of that same mindset. Like, we don't have people who walk in the door that are like, oh God, she's so much prettier than me, I'm not going to work with her. Like, we just don't do that here. And it's very refreshing, because I haven't, I'm not that old. Like, I'm older than y'all, but like, I'm not that old. I've seen it both ways. And I'm so glad that, especially with you guys leading as an example, we don't do those things anymore. So that's kind of a fantastic thing. Did you ever recognize that?
Recognize just in general for the company?
Like the cattiness between women prior?
No, everyone's usually on their good behavior when they're around me.
Probably around you. I remember when I first walked in the door, I was like, oh God, everybody hates me. And I'm a confident.
You always feel that way as a woman.
Well, yeah, but like.
You're going to be judged for how much you laugh or how much you.
Well, that's a good point, though, because my thing I was going to bring up is I wanted to go around the table, and tell me what your guys' thoughts are. What's the biggest challenge for women today in the workplace? I think obviously it's a totally different landscape as it was 20, 30, 50 years ago, and we've made a lot of progress. But in your guys' opinion, what do you think the biggest challenges are for women in the workplace today?
I think that there's a lot of sensitivity these days, and if you come off a little too strong, that you're taken wrong. And I feel like that happens a lot, especially with me. Yeah. If I'm trying to be, even in a team lead position, you're trying to be direct, and it comes off very aggressive.
Yeah.
I think to men though too, not just to other women.
Absolutely.
Like I think across the board. Like if you're too assertive, then it's she's just a bleep.
And I think that's even like a balance, because I think that's been kind of a long thing. It's like women are trying to find the balance between being assertive and a strong leader, but then also not have it interpreted as they're jerk or mean or something like that as well. And I think if you look at the way guys handle it or say the exact same thing, they don't get that. They don't get that. Oh, that guy's an a-hole. That guy's just whatever.
And he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And the path is still unfolding on how all of this is going to work out for women in the workplace. Yes, a lot has changed, and we definitely don't have the same hardships that a lot of women before us did. But we're also figuring it out how to do it ourselves, and kind of stemming off what Lisa said, being assertive without it being taken in a different way, but also not realizing that we shouldn't really have to worry about that either.
Right.
You can get to the point where you understand it, but working through that and figuring out what that looks like has definitely been a challenge, especially for younger women too. And I didn't necessarily always have a great example to look towards for the female perspective, I guess, personally. And so for me, kind of figuring it out on my own, it's definitely been interesting seeing people's reactions to my own growth and how that is perceived.
Right.
Yeah, and I would say for you in particular, because I see it more, but you're very kind and you're very helpful and you're very supportive. And sometimes women, that can be taken as weakness. And you've done a very good job of saying yeah, I'm a super nice person, but I'm not a sissy, I'm strong.
It took a long time though, for sure.
Yeah,
but
you developed that backbone, and I can tell you I've seen that growth in the last 3 years, just myself.
But I guess that would be my biggest advice really is that it comes from you. You have to be the one to acknowledge what the difficulties are and start working on them every day. Just little things every day makes the difference within yourself. And that's man or woman, I feel, in general. And it just takes a little effort every day. And I think that's what's helped me more than anything.
Okay. Very nice.
That's a great point.
Sarah, you have anything you want to add as far as challenges that women today face?
What I think is funny, we all collectively kind of have jokes because, we talked about, we're doing the MVP now, right? So it's the Malace most valuable, or management's pick, value pick, and then a peers pick. And out of the 2 months that we've done it so far, 5 out of the 6 people have been women.
Yeah.
So we have picked each other. Management's picked us. In fact, Laura Love is one of them that's up on the wall right now for being the management's pick because she's phenomenal at her job, So it's such a refreshing thing. And so now we kind of almost have are any of you boys going to win this kind of a thing going on?
Right.
And it's deserved. There isn't a single person out there that doesn't think that, you have deserved it, or anybody else that has won it hasn't deserved it, but it's also kind of cool that the recognition is coming towards women specifically. Because I think we did a census not that long ago. There's not as many. How many more women, or how many more men are here than women? Do we know?
For a while there was a lot more men, and I think it's really kind of evened out. I mean, I'm thinking about it. if you include the HR and the admin and then look at the teams, I mean, I think it's almost even.
It's got to be close.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty close, I would say.
Yeah, we just brought in a new recruiter not too long ago. Her name's Morgan, and she's one of those, like, I mean, she's super supportive. She's super kind. She's everything that you want in a person that you work next to. And she's just such a breath of fresh air. She didn't walk in here with any agenda, she didn't walk in here with any chip on her shoulder. She's just here to do the work and learn and absorb. And it's just like, yes, let me teach you everything. And I know we all feel that way about it. So it's really nice to see that kind of like we're kind of, I don't want to say taking over, but kind of taking over.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa and I have definitely seen a huge transition in our employment here. And it's really been awesome to see a lot more women, and also the women moving up. It's really incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what and the thing in the staffing industries always see a lot of turnover with companies, and we were kind of reflecting on this yesterday as a management team. In the last year we maybe lost one person, if that. And we've had the same team for going on 12 months now, and you can tell there's a synergy, there's an atmosphere, there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesiveness. Cohesiveness. That's a good one. Yeah, we'll use that one between everybody, and it's been great. And I think by being here longer and kind of developing themselves, you're seeing a lot more women and younger guys in the company really coming and fulfilling to their full potential, and now they're not the new people anymore. They've been here for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, and you're really seeing people come out of their shells, and it's really been cool to see when you have a nice group that sticks together, and women have been a huge part of that for sure.
Yeah. My favorite thing to tell newer women that come into our company is about my story and my growth I have had here, and it really is inspiring for people.
Yeah, I mean, we should be putting your face on a freaking banner. All right, look at this. This is what here, we can pledge of allegiance to Laura.
Oh my God,
she is on the wall.
She is on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of all these, awesome things that we've been through and seen, and things that we've, barriers that we've broken and trails that we've blazed, just here at Malace HR, we did want to kind of highlight some of the historical figures. We have Elizabeth Blackwell, who was the first woman to graduate from medical school. That was in 1849. Wow. And I'm sure there were just copious amounts of men that graduated and didn't know what the F they were doing, but we're not men haters, but anyway, woman supporters. She was the first woman to graduate from medical school and become a doctor in the United States. And then we have some other ones on there. Who do you want to talk about, Lisa?
There's Amelia Earhart. She became the first woman and second pilot ever to fly solo nonstop across the Atlantic. It's pretty amazing.
That's a good one.
Okay. Sandra Day O'Connor, sworn in by President Ronald Reagan as the first woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. She retired in 2006 after serving 24 years.
Dang.
Wow.
That's fantastic. So that's a pretty cool list of things that women have done. Have men done anything cool, really, like ever?
Well, on speaking on behalf of basically all men on Earth, I would tell you we did a lot.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
Okay. Any examples?
You know what? Maybe we should take this to the arena.
We have an arena?
We do have an arena. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malice HR Arena, and this is Battle of the Sexes. I'm Andrew, your host for this segment. The game is simple. A statement about a significant creation in history will appear on the screen behind me, and the object of the game is to answer whether that creation was made by a man or a woman. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment, but first we are going to meet our contestants. Team Woman, would you like to go and introduce yourself?
I'm Sarah.
I'm Laura.
I'm Lisa.
It is wonderful to meet the three of you, and we are so happy to have you here. And now, Team Man, would you care to introduce yourself?
I'm LJ, and I am representing all men, Andrew.
That is absolutely amazing. We are happy to have you here as well. Are you guys ready to get going? Yes. Again, the object of the game is to go and answer whether the creation on the screen behind me was created by a man or a woman. Question number 1. Lightweight and 5 times stronger than steel. Kevlar will take a bullet for you. Kevlar was accidentally invented while trying to invent lighter fibers for car tires. Was this material invented by a man or a woman? Team Woman with the quick answer.
That's definitely woman, Andrew.
That is absolutely correct, Team Woman. Kevlar was created in 1965 by Stephanie Kowalik, a woman from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is 1 point for Team Woman. Question number 2. Where would we be without Bluetooth or Wi-Fi? The groundwork for the technology we use to connect all our wireless devices stems from the original technology used to guide torpedoes without being detected. Was this wireless transmission technology invented by a man or a woman? Team Man with the buzzer.
It was definitely a man, Andrew. Definitely a man.
I'm sorry, Team Man, but that is incorrect. The base technology for our modern Bluetooth and Wi-Fi was created in 1940 by movie star Hedy Lamarr. That's another point for Team Woman. Team Woman 2, Team Men 0. Question number 3. Long ago, if a tree was to be removed, it required a 2-man saw to bring it down. The invention of the circular saw in 1813 made this process much more efficient. Was the circular saw invented by a man or a woman? Team Man.
Andrew, anything that involves wood was made by a man, I could assure you.
You can assure me.
Yes, 100%.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect, Team Man. The circular saw was created in 1810 by Tabitha Babbitt, a woman from Harvard, Massachusetts. That is another point for the women's team. Women 3, men 0.
My whole life is a lie right now, Andrew.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I have faith that you'll be able to come back, though. In question number 4 here, humans are always trying to find new renewable energy sources. One of the most popular renewable energy sources is solar power. Was the original concept of harnessing solar power created by a man or a woman? Team Woman with the buzzer.
It's gotta be a woman.
That is correct. The original concept for harnessing solar power was created in 1948 by a woman named Maria Telks from Dover, Massachusetts. That is another point for the women's team. The score is now 4-0. The women have the lead.
Yeah, fully aware, Andrew. Thank you for reminding me.
And it is time for the final question, ladies, gentlemen, and contestants. Are you ready? Sarah.
Can we make this for all the marbles?
We can make this for all the marbles. For the winner of this, they're posing that all of their points will go over to you if you get this correct. However, if they get this answer correct, they will be the winner and you will not be. Yeah. Do you accept their challenge?
We're already winning, so...
I'm a big marbles guy, Andrew, and for me, I think going for all of them just makes sense right now.
I admire your vigilance.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to try.
The final question number 5. The curling iron is a very popular way to add voluptuous style to hair. The first curling iron was made up with tweezers in the shape of tubes. The first one concave and the other one convex. These tubes were heated to curl hair. Was the curling iron invented by a woman or a man? Team Men, quick on the buzzer.
Yeah, Andrew, I kind of see what you're doing here, okay? I see what's going on.
What do you see that I'm doing? What's going on?
My final answer? Woman. A woman made that for sure.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
Team Man, that answer is incorrect. The curling iron was designed in 1959 by René Levier and Roger Lemon, 2 men from France. I am so sorry about that. But that means the women's team has emerged victorious in the first ever Malice HR Battle of the Sexes. I would like to thank our audience and our contestants for participating in this great event. This has been Battle of the Sexes live at Malice HR Arena. Now back to the Malice TV studios.
All right, so I guess you're right. Women have done quite a bit.
Yeah, that really did not work out well for you at all.
Yeah, well, never usually does. But you guys won the battle. Okay, I'll give you that. White flag has been raised. Okay.
Thank you.
But how about before we wrap up, why don't you guys give a little tip or some advice to young women entering the workplace, or maybe even women who are currently working today? Do you have anything that we could share with them?
Well, one thing that I've learned, I guess, is to be yourself. We've kind of talked about this a little bit. But in the words of, I believe it's Dr. Seuss, who is unfortunately a man, the ones who care don't matter, and the ones who matter don't care. Just be genuine and be authentic. authentic, and you're going to naturally gravitate people towards you and towards people who are doing the same. And if you're genuine and you're supportive, they're going to be supportive or genuinely supportive to you too. All three of us and you too. I mean, we're all that way with each other. But you don't get that way if you're not exactly who you are, the entire time. So definitely be authentic. What do you got, Lise?
If you jump into the workforce and you are not 100% on everything, always, if somebody's there to help, take it.
Yeah.
Run with it, learn from it, teach yourself what you can.
And be there to help the next person that needs you.
Be that person that you want to teach and train other people.
Yep. That's a great one. What you got, Laura?
Earlier I'd mentioned, one thing at a time, one thing every day, but I would also say, don't get really stuck in what your path is going to look like either. Be open to new opportunity, and from my experience, that is what led me to where I was meant to go. And if I had been more particular or really pushed for what I thought in my mind I wanted, then I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Those were really great tips and situations. Super, super proud of you guys and grateful that you joined us today. Glad you're here too, LJ.
Thank you.
Having us.
Yes. It's been great, so thank you again. This has been the Malice Cast. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, as well as our pages on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Malice Cast, the official podcast of Malice HR. Don't forget to subscribe now to Malice TV, available on YouTube, and we'll see you on our next Malice Cast.
But I sing one more song before I go away.